Welcome to Roundtable, a community-focused initiative of Titan Radio and the faculty and students of the Broadcast Communication program at Westminster College. You're an important part of this dialogue. As you listen today, send us your thoughts on this show or ideas for future shows by calling our newsline at 724-946-6397. Send us a direct comment using the shout-out feature on the free Titan Radio mobile app. Email us at titanradio@westminster.edu or drop us a comment on our Facebook, Twitter, X, or Instagram pages. And now, here's today's discussion on Roundtable.
Hello and welcome to Roundtable on Titan Radio. I'm Stephan Gibson. Each week on this program, we'll talk with community leaders who make an impact right here in New Wilmington. My guest today is Ms. Gayle Young, the Executive Director of the United Way of Lawrence County. In this conversation, we'll talk about the long history of the United Way, some of their ongoing initiatives, and what it looks like to have a heart for your community. We'll talk about a day in the life of Gayle Young and how she got to where she is today. Hi, Ms. Gayle. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, Stephen, and thanks for inviting me.
Yeah, thanks for coming. Before we get into the meat of everything, can you tell us a little bit about yourself, your background, and how we got here?
Yes. Well, I'm a native of Beaver Falls, Pennsylvania, so I just moved a little bit up the street. I've been a native of Lawrence County now for the last 31 years. My parents are missionaries and pastors. They were involved in this community in the city of Newcastle. We pastored here for about 19 years. So we grew up volunteering throughout the community, in the local church, community, and wherever my parents saw the need. They kind of voluntold us. So we kind of grew up knowing that wherever we were, we had to get involved and be engaged in the community. I'm the proud auntie of 17 nieces and nephews, and now I'm going to my great nieces and nephews. Yeah. And I enjoy my time with them, and seeing where God is taking them on their journey has been very reassuring to me. Mm-hmm.
So, a little bit more into our topic. You are the executive director of the United Way. Can you tell us a little bit about the history of the United Way and this big project?
Yes. Well, United Way was started 130 years ago, and it was born out of 3 different faiths. Each faith was raising dollars for their parishioners to help them in times of need. At that time, you had a lot of orphans, you had widows, you had there were war times that were going on, and they wanted to assist their community, so they all came together. And it started out, the first name was Red Feather. And then Community Chest. That's how Lawrence County got started. It's a Community Chest, United Fund, and as we know it today as United Way. Okay. And United Way Worldwide, that's our name, is actually in 26 countries all over the world. The interesting history of that, whenever a lot of our corporations moved overseas, they took United Way with them because they understood the importance of community engagement and working with their employees, their staff in the communities. They wanted to make sure they enhanced that community. So that's why we were partnered with them.
Wow. Can you tell us how you became so involved with this project?
How I got involved with United Way.
Yeah.
Well, for several years, I worked in community development, economic development, redevelopment authority in Beaver County. When I left, I was the controller of redevelopment authority. And at that time, I was looking to change careers. And an opportunity opened up at United Way of Beaver County. And they were looking for a fiscal or allocations director. Okay. And since I worked with so many of the nonprofit agencies in Beaver County, I was a good fit for that position. Okay. Yeah. And so I was there in Beaver County for 4 years, and in that time I was promoted to campaign director and then finally interim director. So that was how I got my start with United Way.
Okay, yeah. So that really, it came out of knowing your community. Yes. Seeing a need and filling it, and then just from there, it all kind of took off. Wow. So you are a very busy person. Yes. Yes. Yeah. What does an average day as the executive director, what does that look like for you?
Oh my! Well, thank God I'm a morning person, so that helps. So I know whenever I come into the office, there are some appointments that are planned, and plus you never know what's going to walk in your door. Of anyone needing services and redirecting them. But I really believe in being engaged in the community, and I serve on several boards. I am also a Rotarian, so I'm engaged in the community and some grassroots organizations as well. So some of those board meetings and committee meetings take up a little bit of time, but it's a good place for United Way to be positioned because since I have to keep a pulse on the needs of our community, I can let them know in those meetings.
Yeah.
This is what our community looks like. These are some of the areas that we could target. So we're able to look at using even public dollars, federal dollars, state dollars to address those issues. And that's one of the things I learned whenever I was in community development and economic development, because I always question, how come we're not working together? Nonprofits along with the federal dollars, with our legislative dollars to make things happen, because it flows so much better that way.
Sure, yeah. What are some of the objectives of these meetings? You talked about working with different people in your community, working with different organizations. What really is the goal?
The end goal is to make sure that our families are thriving, that our families are getting the support they need to get to the next level. For some of the agencies that I work with, I serve on their board, like the Drug and Alcohol Commission of Lawrence County. So I'm able to find out some of the issues that are driving people into drugs and getting into that area. And I can connect that to our agencies and see if there's a void. Is there something that we could be engaged in that would turn that situation around? So we look at things like that, even with mental health, because we know that over 25% of our children in Lawrence County think about suicide. And to me, people say, what keeps you up at night? I said, that's what keeps me up at night. What can we do to encourage that population? And some of the studies that are coming out really are talking about isolation and also transportation.
Okay.
Because we're in a rural community and there's not a lot for young people to do.
Sure.
That's why a lot of these grassroots organizations like New Visions, they want to get things engaged to bring communities together, like having block parties, just having our young people engaged, the summer feeding program, doing activities with them. So just spending time and integrating the generations.
Yeah.
Yes.
So this is this is something I find, as I talk and interview people more and more, that most of what people are doing to try and help the community, it's not very business oriented. It's not money first.
It's not.
It is very much people focused, and that seems to be very much your heart in the same way.
Yes. Yes, because a lot of our families are struggling. We're known as an ALICE county, and ALICE stands for Asset Limited Income Constrained Employed. 42% of the residents in Lawrence County are struggling. That means that a lot of them don't qualify for a lot of the programs like child care, health care. So they may have a job, and as I call it, a hustle job. So they may be door dashing in the evening just to make those ends meet, because they're like one paycheck away from everything spiraling down. If that car breaks down, if that child gets sick, and don't even talk about utility bills, they have doubled. They have doubled, and a lot of them, because of their income, they're right over the line, so they don't qualify for a lot of the programs, so they're struggling. And I always let our legislators know that's almost half of the people in your county. So I encourage them to look at the income guidelines and look at increasing those, so that a lot of our families can get that support.
So what I'm hearing, very much not just helping people, because that's very much a part of what you're doing. You, even more than that, you're advocating and almost forcibly pushing, to try and help people as much as you can. Where did this fighting spirit come from for you? What's driving you?
I think a lot of it has to do with my faith and belief. That we're supposed to cry out for injustice, and we're supposed to plead the cause of the poor and the fatherless. So looking at that vulnerable group and saying, how can I be a voice? Because a lot of those rooms are not invited into, or they're not in circles with those other groups. So being that voice whenever before the voiceless in our community.
Absolutely. So did you ever see yourself, even with all your prior involvement, did you ever see yourself becoming the executive director?
No, I never saw it coming.
Yeah.
And it was interesting because whenever the position became available, I love United Way because we meet regionally with other United Ways and we work on issues together. And I was encouraged to apply for the position. And I'm thinking, I wasn't real sure about it, but one of the things I realized as my father was pastoring in Newcastle and I was still living in we were still living in Beaver Falls, that a lot of the needs that the parishioners would have, and I would see in the community, I'm like, United Way can do that.
Yeah.
We can do that. Why isn't this being done?
Yeah.
So I think once again, filling a need, and I felt God was moving me to this community.
Kind of in the same vein of seeing a need and wanting to fill it, what are some of the current initiatives that United Way has going on? I know, actually, when we were scheduling this conversation, you talked about a homebuyers class.
Yes.
So we had to pick another day.
Yes, yes.
Could you talk a little bit about some of those things you have going on?
I'm very proud of our homeowners program. It falls under United Way is going through a rebranding phase, strategic planning for 2030, what we want to look like. And I'm proud to say that Lawrence County has already been positioned for that over 20 years ago with home buyers. That was a program that grew out of, once again, a need in our community. We were able to work with our organized labor and rehab a home and sell it back to a low-mod family at market value. So a lot of those families were able to purchase a home at market value, and after it was completely rehabbed, and we were receiving homes dollars at that time through the city of Newcastle. So we could put $50,000 into a rehabbed home and sell it back to that person at market value. It could be anywhere between $18,000 to $22,000. Wow. So that made it affordable. So for a lot of them, their payments were less than $300 a month for a mortgage.
Wow.
Yes, for a mortgage. So that immediately takes them out of poverty.
Yeah.
And so we, after the funds, of course, government funds, they dry up. We thought about bringing it back because there was a study that came out from Lawrence County Social Services that stated that a lot of our low-mod families were paying up to 80% of their income in housing.
Wow.
So that would be rent, that would be utilities, and so looking at ways, that, how we can help those Alice families. And we know that through education, that is the way that we can get them out of poverty. And so we partner with the utility companies, the Board of Realtors, Neighborhood Legal Services, our agencies. And we put together a program, a 5-week program for 2 hours in the evenings because our Alice families are working during the day.
Yeah.
And we welcome them to bring their children. As long as you can control them, you can bring your children to class.
Yeah.
And we provide a light snack for them. So from 6 to 8 on those evenings, they're receiving information on home ownership, the steps they need to take, cleaning up your credit report. And our class ended last night, and we have a panel of the bankers that are there, and they talk about their products. And for some of them, they have grants for $15,000 that you can get for down payment and closing.
Yeah.
And there are other tiered grants that go on top of that. So I think about the scripture, our people fail for lack of knowledge.
Yeah.
And so we're trying to get that information out to these families. And we always have a family that comes back and gives their testimonial. And it's on our website on how they went through the classes, some of the struggles they had, but they made it.
Yeah.
They made it.
Yeah.
And once again, they're immediately out of poverty. And it promotes generational wealth.
Yeah.
Generational wealth, and I think that's very important that we are landowners.
Yeah, absolutely. So, what's so lovely to me about that is that, a lot of times when people try to help out, it can be coming from a very well-intentioned place, but sometimes people can try things that are just not very helpful.
Yes.
But as you were saying, if utilities are a problem for half of the people in your community.
More than half.
Yeah, more than half of the people in your community. Then certainly something with home buying is important to focus on. And I'm glad that that's being focused on so heavily.
Yes, under our 211, and 211 is a number. You can go to the website, and if you have any health and human services questions, they can answer you and direct you to the proper agency. The beauty of that is it provides up-to-the-minute needs assessment, and it's broken down by legislative districts. So I can tell my legislators, look at the numbers of people that are calling in with issues. The number one issue that we had in 2024 was utilities. Utilities is at the top of the list. And once again, a lot of those programs just increase the guidelines so more families can take advantage of that. I'm really concerned because we have an aging community. Almost 46% of the population is over 50 and over. Okay. And so that's the fastest growing ALICE group. Because a lot of them are on fixed incomes and they can't, they're trying to stay in their homes. And what can we do to help them? Yeah. You
mentioned 211 just a bit ago. And it sounded like the more that people use that resource,
Yes.
the more it's going to be funded.
Yes, exactly. And I
Yeah.
have to thank our Lawrence County commissioners because they help us fund that program in our community. And the more that people call and bring that information in, because I can say that I feel utilities is a major issue in our
Yeah.
community, or affordable housing is a major issue. But if I don't have the data and documentation, it's just me, they're not going to believe me. But I
Absolutely.
have all that documentation. And they can see it, and we can even break it down by zip codes.
Yeah.
So we worked maybe several years ago with one of the stats class here at Westminster, and they took all of our 211 information down and broke it down, and it was interesting. They said in Mahoneytown you have a lot of veterans, so they were able to pull all that information.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes. So information
Wow.
is the greatest. Yes, that's how
Yeah.
we make decisions.
Absolutely. Yeah. You need people to use your resources
Yes.
so you know how
Yes.
to better help them. Yeah.
Exactly.
No, absolutely. Moving on with some of the other things that you have going on. There's this wonderful event every year called Taste of the Town.
Yes.
That happens. Could you talk a little bit about that?
Yes, Taste of the Town is something that was born out of, I said it's kind of my testimony because 23 years ago I was going through breast cancer treatment. And going through that process, you have a lot of downtime and praying and thinking, Lord, what can we do to keep the dollars coming in? Because if the dollars aren't coming in, the agency will not exist. And he had given me the idea of the Taste of the Town. And that's where we have about 20 different restaurants. I don't know if people in Lawrence County know, but you are a foodie community.
Oh, absolutely.
Your food is the best.
Yes.
And so to really highlight that, we have over 20 different restaurants to get together. And the date is Monday, October the 20th from 5 to 7:30. You can come right after work. Bring your family. And the price is $435 for a table of 10 or $45 for an individual ticket, and you can find that at our website. So we have we have three new restaurants that are joining us this year. Mission Barbecue is coming out of Boardman, so
Oh,
they will
wow.
be here. Yes, Weber Catering and Bob Evans. So those
Oh,
are some
very
of the
nice.
three. Yes,
Yeah.
besides some of the other ones that will be returning. So
No, yeah. I've been to Taste of the Town a few times. I think I've gone consistently the past few years, and it is just if you like food,
yes.
and who
yes.
doesn't like food, it is the greatest night that you'll have,
And we partner with the school district too, because parents, if your children need to get their community service hours in, contact our office, because a lot of them are busting tables that night, and some of them get hired by the restaurant. So
Yeah.
if you're trying to find them a job, and plus they get their community hours in, call the United Way. They need to be at Taste of the Town. And for some of our restaurants, they actually try out new recipes.
Oh, yeah.
So it's a good place to try out your recipe to see how it's received. And they always have information. They have coupons there at their tables, and they have information on catering for the holiday events. So if there's something you like, they can probably provide it for your holidays.
Yeah, very nice. All around a great event.
Yes.
Moving forward, it is I believe, the 100th year of the United Way of Lawrence County. Can you
Yes.
talk a little bit about that?
Oh, it's been a journey of love, reading through many newspaper clippings, and thanks to Commissioner Dan Vogler, who helped me through the process, putting the history together for United Way of Lawrence County. And once again, it was born out of three different faiths, the B'nai B'rith Society here in Lawrence County, as well as some of the Presbyterian churches, Catholic churches. They all came, Protestant and Catholic, came together to start the United Way of Lawrence County. And interesting enough, the United Way of Lawrence County was started the same year that the cathedral was built.
Oh, wow.
So all of this was going on the same time
Wow.
in Lawrence County.
Yeah.
So I look back and see the wealth that was here at that time, because the cathedral was over $2 million.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the wealth that this community had, but they had a passion, once again, for making sure the needs of the people were met. And the interesting part, back then, they were actually funding, well, first of all, they had to get the blessing to open a United Way. So at that time, it was called a community chest back then, community chest. So they had to get the permission from the Kiwanis Club.
Okay.
from the Rotary Club, and they had to make sure they had 2 of their members on that board. So, and also from, as we know today, it was called the Board of Trades.
Okay.
But as we know today, as the chamber. So it was a lot of business communities that came together.
I see.
They would have meetings after church at the city building, and over 300 people would show up.
Oh my gosh! Wow.
Yes, they were on it every week.
Yeah.
Every week. And they would, a lot of their participation at the various entities was at 100%. So people were invested
Yeah,
in
definitely.
making sure that the community was taken care of, because at that time you had a lot of orphans. In the community, we were taking care of 2 hospitals, the Sharon Hospital and the Newcastle Hospital, Jameson.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was huge. Yes.
Yeah. That is a very, very rich history.
Yes, it is.
That
Yes, it
you
is.
know, probably a lot of people living in Lawrence County probably don't know about or even think about very
Yes.
often.
Yeah, how did it all come to be? So.
Absolutely. And so, with that rich history, what are we doing to celebrate this year?
Oh, we are taking the time to celebrate. So many times as nonprofit, you go from one trauma to the other.
Yeah.
But we said we're taking time to celebrate, and we want to thank all the sponsors for the event because you made it possible. We also kicked off an endowment fund for United Way of Lawrence County to make sure that United Way is positioned for the next 100 years.
Yeah.
But we're having a wonderful dinner, sit-down dinner catered by Medors. We're going with a Roaring 20s theme. So everyone is getting their dresses together, their fascinators, and their men are getting their armbands and bow ties. So it's going to be a 20s event. So we're going to have the red carpet there. So we're rolling out the red carpet. Professional pictures will be taken there. But I think the highlight of it is we're going to have a Roaring 20s cabaret.
Oh, wow.
So so it's going to be a show. It's going to be dinner and a show.
Oh, that's nice.
So it's going to be very nice. Something a little bit different, you know. We're grateful for all the proclamations that we have from our legislators. We kicked that off at our annual meeting in March, and so we're trying to set this time aside to celebrate.
Yeah.
And we're also recognizing our past United Way board presidents. Yeah, our board presidents, so we want to make sure that they are in attendance that night so we can recognize them, because understanding the stress and the load that you're carrying when you're in that position. You I volunteered and I need to raise more money. So looking at different ways to raise money, but we wouldn't be here if those volunteers didn't step up to a leadership role. And I think those are some of the things that we're seeing that are missing. Is I call them the fathers of our community. A lot of them have passed on, and I have some wonderful memories of some of the people that would make sure, like Jack Butts Floors. Gayle, how much money do you need to reach the goal? Here's another $1,000. That would step up to the plate and say, how can we help you? Make sure that you reach your goal. So a lot of those fathers, so getting the business community back engaged into United Way.
All right, one of our last initiatives that I would really love to talk about, being able to see you work throughout the years, I've noticed that Cascade Park is something that is very important to you.
Yes.
Why is it so important to you to keep fighting for Cascade Park?
Once again, being the voice for the voiceless. And we started this journey years ago, I think in 2010. I'm on the board of New Visions. And one of the things that we were looking at when we first got the agency up and running is hearing from the community. What would you like to see?
Yeah.
And we were able to have a study done by Jackson Clark out of Pittsburgh. And one of the things that kept rising to the top was we want the Cascade Pool open. We want that back again. And going back to the fathers of our community, Mr. Fred Rentz, who was the owner of the Newcastle News, he was very passionate about this. And he was able to give me all of his, because he attempted doing this several years ago, and he gave me all of his files, all of his information. I was able to take it back to my board. We dissected it, came up with a strategy, a plan. We were able to get engineering drawings done, broke it down into 2 phases, and start raising money and doing the work. But I love all the partners that are at the table with us. We have organized labor, School of Trades, CTC students, so we have a lot of support for that project. But in working with the city, it's actually giving the pool back to the community.
Yeah.
And so United Way is just a vehicle to help renovate it and then turn it into a pool association.
Yeah.
So it will go on from there until into perpetuity.
Nice.
That's our goal. And our plan is just to kind of bath fitters, rehab what's there. So we already started with phase 1, and phase 2 is the actual pool where it's 13 feet now and it would be 7 foot. So bringing that up, and it's an Olympic-sized pool, so it's available for competition. So looking at things like that, we know that it will bring the obesity rate down. Because that's one of the health indicators that we have in our community. And that's another drawing point that we're 65, and in the Commonwealth, 65 out of 67 counties, the unhealthiest county.
Wow.
In the Commonwealth. And you look back when I read a lot of studies, and you can see that obesity is one of them, especially for our children. So during the summer months, they would be active at the pool, in the pool site. So that is definitely a labor of love for us. So we are still moving forward with that project.
That's wonderful.
Yes.
And it's really incredible to me how much just one project like this can do. Because you were talking earlier about the tragedy of suicide for young people in the community, and one of the reasons you cited was they don't have anywhere to go. So this, among all the other benefits of this, giving people a place to go, you know.
A place to go, and my prayer is that we'll have big plans coming out in 2026.
Oh, that's great.
Yes. Yes.
So is there anything else that I haven't touched on? Anything exciting coming up?
I do want to remind everyone that the United Way campaign kicked off with our annual Day of Caring, and that was held on September the 4th. And so we had volunteers go at various agencies and parks and recreations throughout the community, and they volunteered their time. But that also kicked off our United Way campaign. Our goal this year is $330,000. It's a 10% increase from last year. So we're asking everyone to give, to invest in our community. We are a trusted organization. We do fund about 14 different agencies. I tell people, when you see the Red Cross at a fire, that's United Way, because that's one of the programs that we fund. Giving out the smoke detectors, that's United Way. Children's advocacy, when you see the Boy Scouts and the Girl Scouts, that's United Way. Remember, a lot of our state and federal dollars have been reduced. So United Way is the gap funds for those agencies that they can use. And the more that we can get, they can leverage more dollars from other grants, because we're the matching dollars for them. So your support to the United Way is crucial. Payroll deduction is a very easy way. You can give online, but payroll deduction is a very easy way to give at the workplace. You can have your CEO contact me or your HR director, give us a call. It's still tax deductible. Your contribution is still tax deductible. But really think about investing in our community, because that's what's going to strengthen our community.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's something worth investing in.
Yes, it is.
Absolutely. Well, Ms. Gayle, before we finish up, is there anything you'd like to say that we haven't talked about?
No, I just want to thank you all for the opportunity to come out and tell you a little bit more about United Way. I'm available to speak at your churches, at your organizations. Just give me a call. I can let you know some of the studies that we've been working on. We had a study done about a few years ago, because we've had an influx of Latino families in our community, and that's due to Hurricane Maria.
Oh, yeah.
They were relocated here by the government with no funds, just nothing. And so as United Way, we had to step up to the plate, because there were no Latino churches at that time, or organizations as other cultures did. Whenever they moved in the community, they had a church there or a club or organization. There's nothing there for that community. And that's where United Way stepped up to the plate to help work with them on some of their initiatives, because we don't have a bilingual agency either. And that's one of the things I would love to see in Lawrence County, is a bilingual agency that can help with mental health services. We know that is the fastest growing population in Lawrence County. But they come with a lot of gifts. They come with a lot of pride. They come with a lot of hope. Moving forward.
Definitely. So we've been talking with Gayle Young, the Executive Director of the United Way of Lawrence County. Thank you for talking with us.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
And thank you to our listeners. I'm Stephan Gibson.
This has been Roundtable, a community-focused initiative of Titan Radio and produced by the faculty and students of the Broadcast Communications program at Westminster College. You're an important part of this dialogue. Send us your thoughts on this show or ideas for future shows by calling our newsline at 724-946-6397. Send us a direct comment using the shout-out feature on the free Titan Radio mobile app. Email us at titanradio@westminster.edu or drop us a comment on our Facebook, Twitter, X, or Instagram pages. Join us again next week for Roundtable here on Titan Radio and TitanRadioLive.com.